Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Coach's Corner. This is Coach Ken Goodfellow. The last few weeks I've been talking to you about, handling what buyers are looking for and how you're handling the changing markets because, hey, as I said to you, we're always going through and we're always handling and working in the changing markets. One of the things and one of the reasons that I kind of wanted to do this little series is I think it's really important that in order to get through markets, any kind of markets, good or bad or whatever, indecent, as long as changing markets, I think it's really important that you understand and really set a strong mindset. I think absolutely critical. Just before I get to the mindset part, though, I want to go over maybe a couple of things. One of the things that I've seen people do, and of course, being a coach and working with top producers, we talk about the competition, we talk about what's going on out there. And one of the things that I see different people doing, and they really got to think about this before they do it, though, is, kind of making rash decisions and rash judgments on everything that they're doing. So what I really notice with people in changing markets is they start to panic. First of all, they start to worry, maybe I don't have any money, I don't have this. They change. Rather than having a set process, a proper business plan, have your goals set, have everything in front of you so that at least you're working, trying to get to the goal on a daily, weekly, monthly basis and on a yearly basis, rather than panicking and running and worrying about it and worrying about money, worrying about this, worrying about that. So the biggest thing that I see is the panic that sets in for people, and then all of a sudden they stop doing what they need to do on a daily basis. Yeah, I always say to everybody that I coach, don't worry about the end result. Yeah, you got to get an end result. You got to make some money. But worry about the process. Worry about what you're doing every day. That stops the panic because you're busy then following a process to make you very successful in the end. The second thing that I see a lot of course, is still commission cutting or changing a price or changing, commissions when, really you're giving people more and more service. You have to look at that. You have to look at, hey, am I worth the money that I charge? I don't even think it's commission cutting, to be quite honest with you. I think it's how much do you value yourself? How much do you really think you're worth? Because you know what? That's really what comes across. Everything we do is really between the two ears. Everything we do. So if you believe and your value proposition is you're worth, whatever, then that's what you should be able to charge. If you charge less, that's your problem. That's what you really believe you're worth. Second, the next point is that people in these times, they start to worry because they start to run out of money. Now, who wouldn't worry about that, right? But again, if you're concentrating on the process, if you're concentrating on what has to be done on a daily basis, it'll make a big difference. The other thing is when you talk about money, a lot of people have to cut out their expenses. They got to look at where they're spending all their money. Hey, what I find real interesting is a lot of people maintain the same lifestyle, maintain the same amount of spending that they always did when they were booming. If you're making a couple $1 million a year, you can't spend this year if you're only making $500,000. See, most people don't adjust their expenses based on the amount of income. See, if you make $500,000 or $300,000, whatever the amount of money is you make, and you're budgeted and you save and you put away money to live, you'll do fine. But most people, because we all know up until 2005 was fantastic, if you've been in that business, you were making a lot of income. You were making a lot of large income. So it didn't matter how much you spent. So what I found, even after the last few years, people have not adjusted their expenditures, and in most cases, not even the business expenses, to be quite honest, it's the personal expenses. People spend a lot of money, and they really need to look at that. And then, of course, we look at, again, on the competitor side, hey, what's happening out there? Everything's supply and demand. You got to get listings. You got to get listings out there. You get listings, you control the market. A lot of people, they don't want to carry the listings because they think of all the costs involved and the amount of time that it takes to sell. Hey, it's taking longer to sell. There's no question about it. I mean, hey, so what we really know is that you need almost twice as many listings in the marketplaces today to make the same amount of money. Absolutely no question about it. But what I'm finding is a lot of people are laying off on the listing side because they're not selling. They don't know how to handle the clients. And we're going to talk about that in other Coaches' Corners. But what you really need to do is you really need to continue to grow your listing inventory. Absolutely important. The last thing I want to talk to you about today in the Coach's Corner really is the mental attitude. It's really about the mental attitude. You know, as I've said many times on these recordings, that I do have the privilege of coaching the best agents in the world. Absolutely, without doubt. I mean, I have agents that make, $4, $5, $6 million, $7 million a year. That's a lot of money. But what I notice is the difference between somebody that's doing that and somebody that's kind of just struggling along is their mental attitude. It's about getting up every day. It's about surrounding yourself with positive people, listening to positive tapes, reading positive books, doing all the great things that make you feel great every day. Hey, because we all know that every day people are trying to make sure that you don't get where you're trying to go. You need to become mentally tough. You got to become much tougher. You got to play the mental game so that you feel great about what you're doing. I think that most people kind of play the game, or you wouldn't be at the level you're at right now. But I think everybody needs to do a lot more of feeling good about themselves, feeling good about where they are. It doesn't matter where you are. Keep building on the positives. Keep making positives a great part of your life. Hey, if you play for any sports teams or you do any of those kind of things, and the sports team hasn't been winning, as a coach, all you do is look for one positive thing to build on and then keep building on the positives a little bit at a time. And then guess what? The team starts winning. It becomes exciting. It's great. Hey, that's what you got to do with your life, and that's what you got to do with your business. Doesn't matter how tough it gets. Doesn't matter how bad it gets. Look for something positive every day to build on. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll talk to you next week.